to That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is someone that I've only gotten to know over the last couple of years, but there is no finer ambassador for the very neighborhood where this show emanates from. We call him Tom Harris here in New York, but Michael Che, the comedian, called him TSquare, live from Times Square. Let's go tripping with TSquare.
Thanks so much for having me, Kevin. And there is no better ambassador for New York City than you and everything you do on your show each day.
Some simple questions for you on your first edition of Trippin' with TSquare here on That Kevin Show. What makes Times Square so unique?
So I think Times Square is unique because every 45 seconds it changes. 45 seconds is about the time it takes for someone to walk from one block to another in Times Square.
So which is the stronger draw to Times Square for people that visit from out of town, the Naked Cowboy or Elmo?
So we hope that it's the Naked Cowboy. We would prefer the Naked Cowboy to the Elmos. There's only one Naked Cowboy, and on any day there could be a dozen Elmos, and we all know that there's really only one real Elmo.
But seriously, how many light bulbs, how many signs, how much wattage is required to keep Times Square lit? And you guys light it 24 hours a day.
So yeah, some of the signs do dim during the middle of the night. We have over 100 billboards in Times Square, and our midnight moment, that's a great place, a great time to see Times Square, is 364 nights a year from 11:57 till midnight. Over 100 screens in Times Square are transformed into an artwork, and it's just it's quite a spectacle, something you really need to be here to appreciate. And you can also see this on our website at tsq.org. You could see some of our older midnight moments.
tsq.org. How many cameras are in Times Square shooting 24 hours a day?
We have Earth cams, we have people's cameras. There's every day there's another TikTok artist who's posting about Times Square. So it's probably the most photographed place in New York City.
So before you did the Times Square Association, which you're now the head of, but you used to be NYPD. So very important question. Which was tougher, taking criminals off the streets of New York or the pizza rats to stop fighting over the crust that had been left behind by the tourists?
That's funny. So look, everything has a challenge. The men and women of the New York City Police Department do a fantastic job keeping us safe. And we try to do a great job at the Times Square Alliance, keeping Times Square clean, safe, and desirable for the hundreds of thousands of people who come here every day.
How many restaurants are in your beloved neighborhood?
There's probably 300 restaurants in the neighborhood, and Times Square has something for everyone. You could go from Taco Bell to La Bernardine, a 5-star Michelin chef restaurant. So there's something for everyone in Times Square, and we welcome everyone to come and create new Times Square memories.
I've heard that there is such a thing known as the 15-bite hot dog at the Brooklyn Diner. And I'm curious, do you know why Shelley Fireman hasn't brought that to the Brooklyn Deli yet? I'm very concerned about this. It's a very important question.
So it is an important question. And Shelley and the Fireman Group has 3 restaurants in Times Square. So that just shows you the faith that they have in Times Square. And each one is unique. There's a certain experience at Bond 45. At the Brooklyn Diner, you could get that 15-bite hot dog. And then the Brooklyn Deli has fantastic pastrami. So I think each restaurant offers something unique and something that we love.
Do you know what your personal favorite adult beverage in the Times Square area might be?
So listen, and I don't like to admit this, but Jasmine's Caribbean on Restaurant Row has a killer rum punch, and it's almost hard to finish it. But I can tell you that the other night, my wife and I finished a rum punch, and Jasmine certainly has a great establishment and a fantastic rum punch.
Well, I bet the lovely Mrs. Harris just had a wonderful end to the evening because of that rum punch with you. Hey, Tom Harris.
Yes.
The head of the Times Square Alliance. We are so grateful that you came on the show. You've got to come and you've got to experience TSquare with the one and only TSquare, and that's who we be tripping with. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that, my friend, is TSquare from Times Square, and we're coming right back on That Kevin Show.
Ready or not, he'll be right back. That Kevin.